everyone, I'm back with my final update on my juggling journey. Woohoo! My goal for this project was to learn how to juggle. I had no juggling experience before this. I had tried randomly a couple times throughout my life and never thought I could do it. So to learn how to juggle, I had to use resources that were solely from the internet. And I used some different types of resources to try to learn how to juggle. I would say that my favorite type of resource to use were videos, so YouTube was a really helpful source for me in that. My favorite videos were from Taylor Tries and from Juggling Central. In both of these videos, it was helpful because they had good visuals going because it was a video. They also slowed things down and broke things into steps and told you when to progress. Another type of source I used was social media. So the first form of social media that I went to was Instagram. And on Instagram I found a video of someone trying to teach juggling, but I felt like this one was not really to the point and it wasn't as helpful for me as the YouTube videos. And so for my other form of social media, I went on to TikTok. With TikTok, the videos can be no longer than 1 minute. So the video I found was very concise in comparison to the Instagram video that I found because it was only 1 minute, but it still broke things down into steps and I still had that visual because it was a video. So I was able to find that resource pretty helpful for me. I also used Affinity Spaces like Reddit. So the two resources I used were Learning to Juggle and Juggling Tips for Beginners. One of these was a video. The Learning to Juggle was a video, and it was a boy who was just learning to juggle and getting some help from the comments. That one was not as helpful to me because he was learning too, so I would rather just know what was successful for him instead of watching the whole process. The other Reddit post that I saw, someone had posted, "What are some juggling tips you have for beginners?" which seems promising, but it didn't get many comments. So the comments that were there were helpful, but I wish there had been more comments. The last type of resource I used were help forums. One of the help forums I used was called Clown Forum and the other was called Learning to Juggle. Both of these were helpful and unhelpful in their own ways. When there were a lot of comments, I found it to be helpful, especially when it was from different people giving different advice, but it wasn't always helpful when there weren't a ton of comments, or sometimes the comments were actually kind of discouraging. So yeah, that's a recap on the resources that I used to learn how to juggle. I didn't use anything else besides these ones, so let me show you what I've learned from these. So one of the first things I learned was that I should get real juggling balls. So this is what I've got here. It's supposed to be better weighted and easier to learn with. So the next big thing I learned was about keeping my stance strong. So I have my legs are placed right in line with my shoulders and my arms are nice and low. Another thing I learned that was helpful was to stay calm. This helped me stay composed while learning to juggle and be able to track the balls more easily. Another thing that I learned is that the balls should move in like an X formation. So instead of thinking of it as like a circle, like going back and forth, you want to think of the ball hitting this point and coming down, and then the next ball hitting that point and coming down. So those are some things I'm going to keep in mind, and here you go. This is me attempting to juggle. Sometimes it goes great, other times I drop them all. So we'll see what we get this time. Woohoo! I'll go again. Whoop! Alright, not too bad. But yeah, so right now I can do, I can pretty easily do 3 catches and throws at this point. I can get 4. One time I got like 7 and that was very exciting. So juggling is kind of a ongoing process. You can't learn it super quickly, or at least I am not able to just whip it out. So I'm going to continue working on my juggling skills, but this project has really brought me so far from the beginning. This is where I started. I just dropped it, but that wasn't bad. So yeah, clearly I have learned a lot, and I'm very proud of myself for being able to learn how to juggle solely using internet resources, and thank you for coming on this journey with me.